Luke Inman back again in the eDraft.com studios with part 5 of my newest video series. What am I doing? Going division by division, breaking down one rookie from each team that you need to remember for the 2015 fantasy football season, tackling a personal favorite division of mine, the AFC North, boasts one of the best rivalries of the past decade. Every time the Steelers and Ravens meet up, turn on the DVR, it's sure to be an instant classic. Meanwhile, the Bengals and Browns continuing to make serious strides through the draft, building a solid foundation of roster personnel. But I'm not here to talk about the X's and O's, no. I'm here to give you your fix on fantasy football knowledge and quench your thirst for sneaky sleeper plays for the 2015 season. Starting with the Baltimore Ravens, who plucked back-to-back potential fantasy studs with their very first 2 picks. Listen closely as I'm about to drop some serious knowledge. Breshad Perriman will be a top 5 rookie receiver and will be a top 25 receiver altogether. Yeah, I said it. Looking at rookie receivers last year who had a huge impact, guys like Kelvin Benjamin, Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr., all outplayed their preseason value and ADP because many overlook the most important element and factor when it comes to these young receivers, which is playing time. People often overlook this seemingly obvious notion, but the fact is rookie receivers' production hinges mainly on their opportunities. Because of this, I have first-round pick Breshad Perriman pegged as a late-round gem and player you can downright steal for his current ADP. Perriman walks into camp as the clear-cut starter opposite of Steve Smith as he fills the shoes of the departed Torrey Smith. What makes things even more enticing is Perriman's sheer size at 6'4" and his blazing speed he showcased running a 4.26 40 that will help him thrive and mesh well with Joe Flacco's deep ball. Now in round 2, Ozzie Newsome leapfrogged their division rival Pittsburgh Steelers to grab the clear-cut number 1 tight end in the 2015 draft, former Minnesota Golden Gopher Max Williams. Much like Perriman, Williams walks into a prime situation where he will be fed the ball early and often, with former tight end Owen Daniels now out of the mix. Anytime a savvy team like the Ravens trades up and targets a specific player, it's safe to assume they have big-time plans for him inside the offensive playbook already in the works. Now, if you've done any homework already in the 2015 fantasy football season, you know after Rob Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham comes a huge drop-off at the tight end position. The second tier sounds guys like Greg Olsen, Julius Thomas, and Travis Kelce. But I'll tell you what, if I can't land one of the big 2, I'm saving my money for other positions and waiting for a guy like Max Williams to fall in my lap once the dust settles later in my draft, a guy who could potentially score 6 to 8 touchdowns as one of their clear-cut red zone targets. While the Ravens were early movers and shakers in the 2015 draft, their counterparts Steelers focused on the defensive side of the ball, a wise decision for a unit that ranked 27th in net passing yards allowed per game. The front office did find one offensive weapon worthy of a day 2 pick though, in Auburn wideout Sammy Coates. Now, I personally got to watch Coates up close and personal down at the Senior Bowl all week long in Mobile, Alabama, which is why I can tell you firsthand with confidence this man is built physically like the next big-time wideout in the NFL. Just watching him run up and down the field, I couldn't help but think about a bigger-bodied wideout like Terrell Owens, but Coates is a long way from reaching anywhere near the same caliber or breadth as that former wide receiver. A talented but raw football player, Coates will have to refine his route running, which will take time, likely years, and has some major concentration lapses that really concern me, which leads to silly drops at crucial moments. If you're in a dynasty league, put Coates in the way back of your mind and keep him there until the later rounds, but in any redraft formats, Coates isn't a guy you should be drafting at this point in his young career, especially with guys like Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, and Marcus Wheaton all in front of him. Well, no arguing if any other front office, team, or coaching staff had the draft picks the Cleveland Browns have had the past 5 seasons, no doubt a dynasty would have been built by now. In just the past 2 drafts alone, the Browns have had 4 first-round picks and 12 picks in the top 100 selections. Heck, go back just a tad further and you'll remember the team selecting Trent Richardson and Brandon Whedon in the first round. That's just gross. This year they brought in another overhaul of big-name prospects I personally really like, most of which came on the defensive side of the ball. But from a fantasy perspective, the Browns did get in on a rich class of running backs when they drafted Miami Duke Johnson. Duke left the Miami Hurricanes as the all-time leading rusher in school history, and when I watched his tape, he is bound to make your jaw drop at least 1 time per game. With an incredible blend of vision, agility, and acceleration, Duke Johnson stays low to the ground and bounces off would-be tacklers, much like a Darren Sproles of the Philadelphia Eagles. But, there's always a but when talking about the Browns football, I'm really confused as to why the Browns invested into Duke when they just found 2 capable and talented running backs from last year's class in Terrence West and Isaiah Crowell, leaving me scratching my head as to just exactly where and how Duke fits into this loaded backfill scheme. Early word out of Browns minicamp, however, suggests Duke could be used lined up out wide as a receiver, and if so, would skyrocket Duke's value in any PPR league as the next big-time pass-catching running back. The talent is there for Duke, who you can't deny has all the attributes you love to see from a playmaking tailback. However, it's so tough to invest any type of early round selection or big auction money on a player you just don't know is going to see touches or not. If he's still there after the 10th round in a standard 12-man league, I give you permission to take a shot on Duke Johnson. After all, the running back position is still at a premium. Well, while I loved what the Cincinnati Bengals did during the draft to help their team get better for both the short and long term, they didn't add any players of any significant value that are going to have any type of early impact from a fantasy perspective. Saying that, the team did use their first 2 picks on highly rated offensive linemen that will in turn help the offensive players already in place continue to progress. This means a guy like tailback Jeremy Hill should have even more success from his standout rookie season last year and continue to thrive as the Bengals' feature back and goal line back. It also means a guy like Adrian Green, who struggled with inconsistencies last year, should bounce back in a big way thanks to his quarterback being allowed that extra second in the pocket to find Green deep into his route. Feel more confident this time around when investing early picks and big auction money on fantasy players inside the Bengals offense because of it. Well, that's it for the AFC North. Brashard Perriman, you can vault me as a top 25 receiver this year just as a rookie. Like, comment, subscribe, and hold me accountable. Nothing I love more than engaging with you, the fans. Remember, check us out on eDraft.com and use our newest mock draft tool as you can go pick by pick, round by round, and hone your craft before your 2015 fantasy football draft. For everybody at eDraft.com, I'm Luke Inman, signing out.